and welcome to Blue Jays Today Show, where today, guys, oh man, oh, that's me in the background. Everybody, this is the turning point of the Toronto Blue Jays season, folks. We got to look ahead at the second half of the season after the All-Star break. We got a couple injury updates. We got to talk about Vladdy. We got to talk about Manoah. We got to talk about what the Blue Jays got to do to make those trades to then secure their spot in the postseason. Let's talk about it. I'm your host, Adam Peddle.
And I'm your host, Nicholas Playlock. Yeah, Adam is back now, guys. I know everybody's been asking, where is he? Where is he? You want to tell people where you were?
Yeah, I had to do a work trip down in LA. Got some sun. But like for 5 days in a row inside, but it was a great experience. So if there is anybody from that trip down there who's watching, I know a few of them were checking out the channel, so shout out to you guys. Thank you for joining the show.
How was it being in Dodgers Nation? Could you feel yourself getting converted to a legitimate, like, we are going to win the World Series every year franchise?
Dude, I'll tell you, like, the hype is real in LA with the Dodgers. We were down around, like, the area where Dodger Stadium was, and the hype's real. I mean, LA Dodgers logos are everywhere down there, but no, I'm a true Blue Jays fan. Yeah. To the day I die, baby.
Well, and listen, man, like, I don't know necessarily how well they finished off before All-Star break, but it can't be as good as we did, man, because we went 5-1 in that final week, and that just absolutely skyrocketed the Toronto Blue Jays in terms of playoff odds, in terms of just where they're sitting in their division. I think in terms of just our mentality walking into the trade deadline as a unit, as a squad, that last stretch right there of 5-1 was so needed.
It was, man. I mean, we talked about it on the show before, and you nailed the prediction. Sweeping White Sox.
5-1, yeah.
Oh, yeah, and exactly right. Like, sweeping White Sox, taking 2 out of 3 against Detroit. And yeah, it is huge because when you walk into the beyond the All-Star break, 9 games above 500, that sounds a lot better than where we were before, which was like 4 or 5 games above. And if you look at the standings here, folks, like, yeah, I mean, it's still going to be very competitive down to the wire. We're tied with the Houston Astros. Mm-hmm. Yankees are only 1 game behind us. That's a swing of like a week or 2, and, and they're back. And you know what? Shockingly, and I got to give credit to the Boston Red Sox, they're still 2 games back. Seattle's trying to climb their way back into it. You know, it's going to be competitive down to the wire, so we got to be on our absolute A game.
It really is anyone's game right now, man, but it just feels a lot better, right? Like, I'm so happy that we are now in a playoff spot because that just makes me feel so much more confident walking into that trade deadline and then buying pieces, whereas if you were in the Seattle Mariners spot right now, it's tough to know what you're supposed to do, right? Like, are we buying into this thing? Are we not? Like, we're still good, but, you know, like, our chances are getting slimmer. So I'm very happy with how we ended that thing walking into the break. A big part of our game, and we were actually shocked when we found out the statistic, folks. Oh, God. A massive part of our game that has been helping us win these close ones is our bullpen. And you showed me this right before this stream got started. What the hell is going on with the pen?
Dude, it is actually a pretty good pen at this point, and you might be fooled looking at it, but let's take a look at the stat. We're ranked 5th in the MLB, right behind the Houston Astros, and ahead of that Baltimore Orioles bullpen that we've all known and loathed throughout the years, them being really, really good. But I do think that maybe I'm skeptical. Y'all know I'm pretty skeptical. Like, maybe it's some fool's gold, because when you look at, like, the Blue Jays and how we're actually running this bullpen, like, we were talking before the break, and just the amount of workload that Trevor Richards, I mean, granted, his are boosted right now because he's been an opener for a few months, or a month or two. Jordan Romano, like, already had 37 innings. You know, Eric Swanson had 42 innings. Like, in a good season, like, a good reliever has used a lot is like 65 innings, 70 maybe, and you already got Eric Swanson on pace for like about 80. So like that's concerning to me. I want to give Eric Swanson the opportunity to have some rest by bringing in some other high leverage guys into this Blue Jays bullpen, so that we can have him play at his best in critical situations.
100%, dude. I mean, I'm very happy that our bullpen is apparently doing as well as they're doing, right? And I think that the eyeball test, when you look at them, like, no disrespect to our bullpen guys, but, you know, maybe it's just because the negative outings just stand out so much more than the positive outings, right? And, you know, those big blow-ups just really stick with you. I am concerned, though, obviously, about the health and longevity of this bullpen with the news that we just had coming out about Jordan Romano, right? And I wanted to kind of segue the fact that this is one of our strengths, surprisingly. Exactly. And now maybe we could be losing one of our best players of our strengths, which would be very, very bad.
Right now, I mean, for those who don't know and who didn't watch the All-Star game, Jordan Romano actually left the game after facing Lourdes Guerrero Jr. Actually, Lourdes Guerrero Jr. almost hit a home run off him.
Lord, I know. Well, yeah, because at first I saw a tweet saying like he did hit it out of the park, and then they changed it back. It was like it was foul, just foul.
Foul. But the bad news of this, even worse than getting a home run off the guy who traded away, is that Jordan Romano did have to leave with lower back tightness. Now the news right now on him is that they're just monitoring him, but they don't think it's going to be that bad, and they don't think they're going to miss much playing time if they need to. Just rest him. There probably won't be an IL stint, so that's probably pretty good. But hey, you never know. They could be keeping it hush-hush because when it comes to these big-time players, losing someone like Jordan Romano can make people go a little bit panicky, especially right before the day of you starting the regular season.
100%, dude. And I would argue that Jordan Romano is absolutely probably the most important one in that bullpen, just 100%. Because we are actually very good in close games, guys. I saw a statistic on Twitter. I think that we are 16-9 in one-run games.
Huge. And
that just goes to show, right, that our quality bullpen arms, the Eric Swansons and the Jordan Romanos and all those guys that come into those one-run games, they are coming out and they are coming clutch. So we would be losing a lot more had we not had such a clutch guy in the back end there in Jordan Romano. And I think that just really lends itself to the train of thought of we need to acquire more bullpen guys come trade deadline. And a lot of people have been commenting and saying we need bats. And I do agree, and we're going to talk about that later, guys. Trust me, we are absolutely going to get to that. But we also need bullpen too, I think.
We do, and I'm going to make a video coming out about this tomorrow on like why we need bullpen guys. But to sum it up, like essentially, yeah, like we're saying, lose Romano, maybe Swanson for some reason gets overworked and he gets a dead elbow and we lose him. And also, do you really want to put yourself in a situation in the postseason when, we're in the 5th inning and it's a very close game. We need someone to shut down the bullpen. Who do you put in that spot? You've seen John Schneider go to Eric Swanson, but then if the game's still close later on, you're going to go to Jimmy Garcia. I don't feel too comfortable. Even though he has been playing a lot better recently, I still don't feel comfortable. I want some more depth in case of those maybe injuries, underperformances, and just the security to know that I can play high-leverage guys in the postseason.
I agree with all of that, dude, and I also think that you got to play to your strengths a little bit, right? The 2023 Blue Jays are a lot different from the 2022 and the 2021 Blue Jays. This is the first time ever that I think you can actively look at this bullpen and say this is a strength of ours, and we should be playing into that strength and saying, hey, we'll play you in a run game because our bullpen's going to outlast your bullpen. That's how Seattle Mariners, that's how they made it so far last year. And who walked out of the wild card series, right? It was them because our freaking bullpen decided to blow it all up, in the last game there. So I think we absolutely need to get more guys. And when we flip over here, folks, there are so many relievers on the market. Well, I don't think we're going to dive deep into all these guys, but just to, these are some names. Daniel Bard and Scott Barlow. Chapman is gone now. Chapman is gone. But Cisnerno on the Twins, right? You got Edwards on the Nationals. Foley on the Tigers. And this is just to name a few, right? There is a lot of potential bullpen arms that are available to go out and target for these Toronto Blue Jays.
Oh, shut up.
Julian Merriweather out there having a little bit of a year. Had no idea. Had no idea. And what's beautiful about this, right, is that because there's so many of these dudes, I don't want to say that they're a dime a dozen, but they're a hell of a lot cheaper than the Marcus Stromans and the other guys, going on.
Especially when there's a surplus out there, man, you could basically trade away anything. You could trade away, your 18-year-old that you signed in the 21st round.
Yeah, 100%.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't think we need to be trading away Teoscar Hernandez level players when there is this many available dudes on the market, right? So I absolutely do believe that we are going to be in on one or more of those players, as we should be. Who that's going to be, it's going to be tough to say. We're going to have to keep track of the rumors and everything that Ross Atkins and John Schneider is coming out and saying.
Absolutely. And, I think what's great about this channel and the community that we have here is that, a lot of you guys have been commenting and saying, you said we needed this, but now you're saying we need this. Well, here's the thing. Just like our opinions on the game and what we need from a Toronto Blue Jays standpoint, it changes. Based on what we're doing. If we're close to 500 and we don't have any starting pitchers, we need starting pitchers. But now we have, guess what? We have some starting pitchers coming back.
Yeah.
So now it feels like, we're kind of easing off the gas pedal. I guess it kind of leads me into my next point. We were talking about the last few weeks. We were like, oh, we need a starting pitcher, but we had Alek Manoah come up and make his debut, and we didn't really debut his mid-season, I guess, re-debut.
Felt like a debut.
It felt like a debut again this season, and he pitched pretty darn well, guys.
Pitched amazingly, yeah.
You know, 6 innings, 1 earned run, no walks. That's the huge point, and 8 punchies. So, you know, you have him back. That's 5-man in the rotation. You have Hyun-Jin Ryu coming back as a number 6. Are you still feeling like maybe just to finish off the trade talks, that like because of Alek Manoah, because he's coming back and doing well, like maybe we can ease up and just ride Alek Manoah. Maybe he's back. Maybe he is what he is.
I still think that it would be nice to have someone. You know,
Right.
it would still be nice to go ahead and acquire somebody. And I'm always going to say that starting pitching wins championships, folks. Like we've seen it time and time again. The Houston Astros always have great starting pitching. You know, they're winning World Series. The Atlanta Braves always have great starting pitching. You know, they're a World Series favorite right now. So I'm always going to say that bringing in more starters is the way to go. But I also, you know, have to see what's happening on the field and on the page. And it's starting to dip lower in the priority list for me, right? That runners in scoring position, that we need RBIs, that why does Matt Chapman and Brandon Bell and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. keep striking out in the middle of the lineup? That problem is starting to become a little bit more glaring to me, and one of those ones where, well, maybe we don't need to win a 1-run game every game. Maybe we can win a 2-run or a 3-run game if we were capable of hitting a little bit more in the heart of that order.
No, you're absolutely right. There's a ton of swing and miss guys, like you said, with Brandon Bell, Matt Chapman, Dalton Varsho. There's so much swing and miss in the middle of that lineup, and I really do believe that we do need to, our focus is going to shift towards maybe adding a complimentary bullpen guy.
Yep.
And adding in another bat.
Definitely, man.
Adding another bat. And again, in that video tomorrow, guys, I am going to talk about a bat that I think it's like very sneaky. When I did the research today and I found this guy, I'm like, what the heck?
Right.
Like, I never in a million years said, I kind of want this guy. But stay tuned tomorrow for that, folks. It's going to come out in some time in the afternoon.
I want to segue very quickly just back to that one thought that you said about, you know, how like everything's fluctuating and, you know, we kind of ebbs and flows of the season. And this is, I'm going to have a video coming out and talking about this more in detail. But what's crazy is that, you know, at one point of the season, the Toronto Blue Jays had a playoff percentage ranking of, I think it was 88%.
Yeah.
We made playoffs, and that was after our incredible month, right? And then there was another point of this season, about literally almost exactly 1 month later, where we were at 45%.
Yeah.
Right? And that just goes to show the roller coaster that this team has been on. You know, you're going from a sure thing to, oh my God, you're not going to do it, to, you know, somewhere in between, which is where we're at right now. And, you know, that is the Toronto Blue Jays 2023, folks. It is a fucking roller coaster of events that are going on. We're just along for the ride just as much as you guys are. But I agree with you. Right now, it's backed. Next week, who knows?
Who knows what it could be? If there's an injury in the rotation, an injury in the bullpen, you literally never know. But all I do know is, like, based on what we're talking about, we will be buyers come this trade deadline because we needed what we needed to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. At that 45% mark, it was looking like, maybe it could go the other way. But now it's looking a lot better. Like, we are going to buy in for sure. That's what that last week decided. And that is something to celebrate. That is absolutely something to celebrate.
I'm trying to play some sound effects, but I guess I'm on the wrong thing. But yes! Absolutely. But guys, look, we also, we need to buy. That's great. But what we also need to do is we hope that some of our guys currently have a bit of a turnaround. I mean, one of the biggest stories of the entire season, you know, it's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I'll just say it out right now. It's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. because we all expected him to bounce back after quote-unquote a sophomore slump from his MVP year. If you consider his MVP year, MVP number 2, to be his like first year, like breakout, you expected some regression, and we were okay with that. But then we expected a bounce back. Yeah. And we saw still some roller coasters from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And this article by Sportsnet kind of puts it in perspective of how the Blue Jays in the second half, what they need to have a good run at the postseason, and we do need Vlad. But what's on a good sign here is we can see his last 15-game rolling slug. So basically all these points mean what is he doing in the last 15 days in terms of slugging. We had a great first half, and then we had the struggles. But we can see he's coming back, and he's a home run derby champion. You know, is the home run derby and the last stretch before when he's facing some easier competition Do you think that's going to launch Vladdy into a good second half?
That's
you know
obviously the hope, right? And that's the narrative, right? It's like this guy comes out, he battles against Mookie. Well, the Mookie Betts wasn't too much of a battle, but he battles against Julio Rodriguez, and then he fights against Randy Arozarena, and he just shows a level of consistency. And then he comes out afterwards and he says that people were telling me that I gotta slow down, I gotta calm down, right? And he said, no, I can't do that. I gotta keep hitting more home runs. That's literally what he said. He came in and he said that, right? So you have to imagine that level of competitiveness, just the fact that he went out and he was able to accomplish what his dad did, several decades earlier, right? That has got to make the kid feel really good. And we saw the same thing happen several seasons ago, where he came out, he put on a performance. You saw that confidence come out. You say, hey, I'm capable of doing this on the big stage. Even though I didn't win, I put one hell of a performance out there, and I went toe-to-toe with some of the best, and then he went on to have a very good second half.
That's right.
And you really got to hope that that's what's going on right here with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I do anticipate that he is going to have a better second half. I think this graph is a great way to show it. I think that the confidence that he got from the home run derby is also a significant factor. And I just also think, too, man, when you saw him among those elites on the week, when you saw him at the All-Star game, man, he looked like he belonged there.
Oh, yeah.
He looked like he belonged there, and that's not necessarily something that I've seen from him so far this season. There's been a lack of confidence and a surety going on with Vladimir Guerrero Jr., but when he was there, he looked like he belonged with the Juan Sotos and the Bo Bichettes and everyone of the world.
And I know we've been very critical of, saying he doesn't deserve... I don't think I ever said he doesn't deserve to be at the All-Star game. I didn't think he deserved to start this season, rightfully so. I do think Yanni Diaz has had a better statistically-wise, better season than Vladdy. But I don't think that he doesn't deserve to be at the All-Star game because he is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And even though he's having a down year for Vladdy, still better than most of the first basemen in the entire league. So, I'm glad. I hope it gives him some confidence because what the Blue Jays really need is we got to have runners in scoring position to come home. And that's kind of the last thing on this article I want to flash to. And that is kind of the storybook of the Toronto Blue Jays season this year. The biggest struggle is those runners in scoring position. Got to get them home. As you can see here, we do not rank well with men in scoring position. Very well when the bases are empty and we're not hitting home runs, so we're really not getting any runs. Low leverage, it doesn't matter, but when the lights turn on, it's starting to get a little bit tough. So the Blue Jays, I don't know how. I don't know how you solve that, man. I really don't know how you solve that.
We really got to dive deep here and start evaluating. Are they pitching us differently, and how are they pitching us differently? Is it that? Is it just a mental thing?
Is it expanding?
Exactly.
What are we doing?
Our approach?
Yeah.
Because when it's that drastic, I could understand if it's 4, 5 points, maybe even 10. But that's a whole difference of 20 ranks right there. You're fourth when there's no one on, and then you're 24th when there is somebody on. And that to me is just so drastic, so blatant that you got to ask yourself, what is causing this right now?
If I'm a batter, what I've always been told growing up is if I'm a batter and running a scoring position, the last thing the pitcher wants to do is give me a free pass. That's the last thing they want me to do. So what are they going to do? They're going to attack me. They have to come to me. They have to get me. They have to get me to ground out. They have to get me to pop out. They have to get me to get a weak contact out. So if I know that, then I got to be ready to attack.
Right.
So I'm wondering, and I want to see a stat because I can't just come up with the top of my head and give you guys false a report on the Toronto Blue Jays in scoring position. But are they not hitting the pitches they need to hit? Are they letting the pitches they need to hit go by? Are they not scoring up? Because you imagine at this point in the season, if you got a pitch that you want to hit and it's there, you're gonna hit it at this point.
You should be able to see that. You should be able to recognize that and know that that's yours.
Right? Or vice versa. Are we thinking that, and then they're throwing sliders away? It's a little bit of reverse psychology. Because I can believe that. With a lot of swing and miss guys in the middle of our lineup, I could believe that those guys are chasing pitches. I mean, we've seen it all season just on an eyeball test. So it's really interesting. If anyone has any stats, wants to send it to us, I would love to break that down. That is an interesting report. But regardless, at the end of the day, man, whatever it is, we got to change.
Well, we got to fix it for sure, right? And at the end of the day, too, it's Guillermo Martinez's job to figure that out, right? We can speculate, we can sit here and speculate all we want, but it is his job to figure it out. I'm having a hard time believing, because the whole narrative has been, well, we can't hit because the lights are so bright and we get on our brains. I'm just having a hard time believing that is the sole reason for this when you just see Vladimir Guerrero Jr. win the home run derby. right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, the lights
What?
are pretty freaking bright right there. You're
Yeah.
up against the best elites of the game,
Yeah.
and somehow you manage to come out clutch right there, right? So, I mean,
Could it be a mentality thing? I mean, I've seen
I don't know.
comments. I've seen comments just to like kind of throw it out there, being like, maybe it was a bad idea to get quote unquote serious this season.
Well, maybe.
You know, because you take away the home run jacket, you trade away all the friends, and you bring in guys who are supposed to be better defensively to help the team win overall, and they get a little bit serious.
Right.
And then the fun goes away. And now the pressure adds on. When there's no fun, it's just pressure. You know what I mean?
It's a
mean?
good theory for sure, and I hear what they're saying with that, and maybe they do need to step back a little bit and find a happy medium there.
Right.
But I also think too, I mean, like, come on, guys, like my job's pretty serious too. You know, it's like sometimes you just gotta go to work and you gotta get it done.
Yeah,
so like
yeah.
get in the mud and like get dirty and hit those home runs, right? So figure it out, folks.
Oh, man.
Let's move on and take a look actually, because this was just released, folks, and I see a few of you guys asking about it. Let's take a look at the 2024 opening day schedule for the Toronto Blue Jays, guys. This just came out, and I saw an exceptional tweet. I think it was Ben Nicholson-Smith coming out and saying like, oh, you know, like, we're starting out pretty easy. It's nice, it's relaxing, you know, we're just gonna ease into the season. And I'm saying it that way because it is very sarcastic, guys.
Yeah.
The Toronto Blue Jays, as you can see right here.
Kind of hard to see for some people. Apologies.
Yeah,
but...
apologies, guys. But as you can see, they kick off the season on the road to Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Then they go to
4
Houston.
games.
Then they go to New York. They get
That's
a solid.
ridiculous.
Yeah, they get a solid. How many games is that? 10-game stretch right there. On the road in Tampa Bay, Houston, and New York.
That's
Arguably
ridiculous.
the 3 hardest American League teams that you could just pick out of a hat. Oh, here you go. I feel like we always get this, man.
First of all, this is the reason why I'm like, is someone out in the MLB against the Blue Jays? Does someone want us to fail? Like, I really don't understand. Like, really just put us in the ground. You know what I mean? Right out of the gate.
Like, get us down in like 3-7 to start out.
Right, like, really, guys? Are you serious? And for those people saying like, wow, again, another road trip? Well, there is more Rogers Center's renovations. That's why we're on a big road trip, which is unfortunate. But why in the hell did it have to be... It doesn't even make any sense geographically. Like, you're going down to Florida, then you're going across to Houston,
then you're going
then
back
up and right towards New York. Like,
Explain
why?
this to me.
This doesn't make any sense.
We might as well stop in and play the Texas Rangers while we're there.
Yeah,
you know?
go back to the Rangers,
yes.
come back home. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
It's wild, guys. I mean, obviously that's a next year problem.
Yeah.
But the Blue Jays are gonna have their work cut out for them in that first little stretch there.
Sure.
I mean, again, if they can come out and get hot, then who knows? It could be a great
Hey,
thing. But
man.
that's gonna be a tough 10-game stretch. For
It
sure.
will definitely be, guys. Why don't we quickly just talk about some couple highlights of the Blue Jays? I mean, if you guys remember last week, let's talk about some of the highlights from the Blue Jays this past week. Honestly, Bo Bichette, really great. You know, he went 9 for 28, solid. I mean, his OPS was like 700 in that stretch, but he just got the job done.
He's hitting, man. He's hitting.
He's hitting, right? Vladdy warming up like we saw. Chapman with a double, triple homer. He was interesting. Dude, I'm starting to get on board. Dalton Varsho.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, 1 for 19 with a RBI, a run, 5 strikeouts. Didn't strike out as much. But
he went 1 for 19.
1 for 19. His OPS plus now is 80. You're getting more than halfway through the season,
19.
my dude. 1 for 19. Like he's dropping in the order, which is good, but 1 for 19.
That's like very bad.
He needed the break.
That's like
he needed this break.
Yeah,
man.
that's like a full up. Like, I don't even know what that is, right? Is it a mechanical? Is it a mental thing? I remember like a few months ago they were saying, oh, he's changed mechanically, and then there was like a solid like 10-day stretch where he started like hitting well,
good.
and then it just like slowly like. Like off the cliff again, and here we are, and we're seeing Jordan or Lourdes Gurriel Jr. I mean, it's always you have to be able to comparison, right? Like that's the only comparison that we have, right? But obviously, you're watching Lourdes Gurriel Jr. at the All-Star game, and he's doing really great. And Arizona, we're gonna be facing Arizona.
Yeah, we are.
His former team coming out, that's gonna be going on. So obviously, we're gonna see the Lord in action and Dalton Varsho. I mean, like you gotta come out. I feel like this is your series, man. This is your series, right? To come out, you got your little breather, you got your break, you went home, you saw your family, you know, like, I don't know, maybe you got laid or something like that. You really reset, right?
Yeah.
And now you get to face your former team and you get to show them what's what. So this is your revenge story to then kick off the whole like just rampant second half. Man. That's what this needs to be.
Dude, I want to see a Dalton Varsho 860 OPS second half, or else I'm a scream bust. I'm a scream bust.
I know. It's tough, man. It's just tough based on how much you had to give up to get this guy, right? And it's literally like everybody was so excited when it happened. We were very excited. Yeah. He has contributed defensively, of course. But right now, it's just tough to continue to put that in the line.
I gotta stop thinking that players, just because they're young, are gonna get better. I gotta stop thinking that, because we looked at his 720 OPS last year with his 230 batting average, and we're like, oh, he's got great defense,
but he's 25.
Yeah. Oh, with 27 home runs, so that means he's got lots of pop at the Rogers Center.
He's obviously gonna improve.
Yeah, like I'm just like, I gotta stop thinking that way, man, because like it's clearly not true. Look at Kevin Biggio. You know, like, it's just not true.
Sometimes it just doesn't happen, man. I was truly buying into the fact that they saw something offensively.
That's what
I thought that the coaching staff just saw something offensively, and the fact that we were bringing in the left field thing, you know, it's like I was just thinking, like, across the board, this was always going to work.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, it's up to this point, it hasn't. It doesn't mean that he's not going to come out and have a great second half, but 1 for 19 is very questionable, and you need to do better than that.
It's bad. And then a little honorable mention here before we crown Jay of the Week. Danny Jansen, you know, you told me he had a clutch moment.
Yeah, I mean,
you know?
we needed him, man. We needed him. We almost threw, I think we almost threw the last game there.
Yeah.
Like, it was close to throwing it, and Schneider was doing some messed up stuff, but Danny Jansen came up clutch at the end.
As he always does.
Yeah, exactly, right?
He's so
good. You can really only count on this guy for, like, 3 hits a week or something like that, but, like, one of them's going to be in a clutch situation to, you know, go yard.
He's always clutch. You know, that's literally a part of your game. Like, you know, I play a movie show, and like when there's runners in scoring position, your contact goes away, and it's clutch bar.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like Danny's contact's low, but when his runner in scoring position, the clutchness is right there.
No, it's there, man. It's 100% there. So like credit where credit is due. Danny Jansen, like absolutely love you, man. Like keep getting those hands dirty and keep smacking home runs.
Absolutely. Why don't we crown now, Nick, the Jay of the Week last week?
All right, it is time for the Jay of the Week.
Yep, time for the Jay of the Week. This guy, it was between Danny Jansen and this guy, but this guy, when I looked at the stats, again, apologies, I couldn't watch much Blue Jays baseball, but when I see you drive in 8 runs,
yeah, that's a lot of runs,
you know,
man.
And you have 4 multi-hit games, you know, you really make sure that your nickname is true, and that is the Jay of the Week 2-hit wit right now. Time for congratulations. Where is he? Whoops. Go ahead, Medway. Here, it was me actually all along.
Yeah, credit where credit is due, man. I mean, Whit Merrifield, he was actually going on a little bit of a slump there for a little bit, but then he really picked it up, man. And like, this has just been such a phenomenal trade acquisition that we made last year. I would love to go ahead and to target some guys like this come this trade deadline, because you didn't have to pay up the wazoo for Whit Merrifield, but you just saw something. You saw the fact that, hey, maybe the guy's getting a little fed up with Kansas City, maybe he's getting a little fed up with losing. He comes over here, gets a change of scenery, and you just revitalize that career 100%, man.
Dude, just like I was thinking about this today, just like Whit and just like Brandon Belt, like, yeah, they had down years, but like they have a career resume of like just showing how good they are.
Exactly.
And you really can't like underestimate that, especially when their careers aren't even over yet.
No.
You know, they still got years left. So I'd honestly bank on those guys versus the Varshos of the world.
That's what I mean.
Where they haven't done it yet.
You might as well shoot your shot on these guys, because usually they're very undervalued, and that's what Whit Merrifield was, folks. So credit to Whit Merrifield for being absolutely phenomenal. We are going to need you to keep doing it, guys, because 8 RBIs, that's what we've been lacking. So just continue to keep smacking them in. Let's take a look at this upcoming week, guys. It's going to be an interesting one.
It is.
Because, you know, at the beginning of the season, I would have looked at this part of the schedule and I would have said, oh, easy series against Arizona here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're only doing the Arizona one.
We're only doing the Arizona one.
Okay, yeah. Apologies, guys. I was thinking like former Blue Jays Today format, because we got San Diego next week. But we're
I did the same thing, bro.
We're only going to be talking about Arizona right now, because we're going to be doing our Blue Jays Today show again on Sunday. Just get ourselves back on track.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this series and really dive deep into these Arizona Diamondbacks, because they have absolutely shocked the MLB world with the way that they have come on and burst onto the scene this year.
Yeah, they truly have, man. And, you know, you got the Arizona Diamondbacks, who are sitting 52-39. That's a better record than we have at 50-41. They're 7th in OPS. Like, you look at people like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Corbin Carroll, who are really highlighting that team right now. They have really got some pop in that lineup, and that's why they're 7th in OPS. But even though they got like a Cy Young candidate in Zach Gallen, their pitching has been below average. They're ranked right now 18th in the MLB, whereas us, we're ranked 9th in the MLB in total. So, we do have the advantage pitching-wise. We are home at the Rogers Center. So, I do think it's going to be a competitive series, seeing some old friends.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%, man. I mean, you definitely cannot count these Diamondbacks out. And I recently made a video on these Diamondbacks on a different channel. And, yeah, their lineup's deeper than just Gurriel and just Carroll. Sure. Like, there's a bunch of guys in there where I was like, damn, I did not realize that you were hitting this well. And you were hitting this well. And it's just like, so it goes on and on. I do think that when we watch these guys on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you're going to look at that lineup and be like, what the, like, I did not even realize this. So they could come out and they could absolutely shock us at our home ballpark. Who do we have pitching?
Yeah, that's a great question. Right now, as of recording this video, they have not announced the starting pitchers for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Better be Kevin Gausman.
Exactly. If I'm going to make a guess, you have to roll out Gausman here.
Yeah.
You have to roll out Berrios. Right now, Chris Bassett, he hasn't really been Chris Bassett of the late. You might roll him in there just so you don't put all of your eggs in one basket in one series. You want to save some for the Padres because they're, going to be an easier team as they're not as good. So, and you do have an off day, so you could probably flip Kevin Gausman here at some point. But I think you got to roll out at least Berrios and Gausman. Bassett, I wouldn't be surprised if they throw Manoah in the mix to see maybe if they can get him cooking against some good competition. We'll have to see. Or maybe, or vice versa, they might leave him for the Padres to see if they can face a little bit weaker, which is crazy to say. Weaker lineup,
which is absolutely, that's what it's nuts, man.
Nuts to say that.
I mean, and this was the one, I guess, potential knock on Alek Manoah. I don't even really think it's a knock, but this was the conversation on Twitter saying, well, he was facing the Tigers.
Exactly.
It's no big deal, right? So he is going to need to come out and he's going to need to show that level of dominance again against some tougher lineups. I do think that the San Diego Padres, even though they're having a down year, definitely tougher than the Detroit Tigers are. So you might see that happen there. The Diamondbacks, though, they got some guys.
They got Nelson going the first day, 5-ERA guy, nothing really special.
Right.
Then they got Zach Gallen.
Yes.
It's going to be a competitive game, so maybe you see, they've already announced their starting pitchers, so maybe you see a little matchup situation. We're going to get a good matchup against Zach Gallen.
Yeah.
Then Henry, 3.75 ERA. So, end of the day, again, our ERA is better than theirs. Our pitching staff's a little bit better. They do got Zach Gallen. I think we got to come out of the gate hot. I do think, because we're at home, I do think we have a good chance to take 2. Take 2 is very realistic.
I mean, I think if we were at their place, I might say that they take 2. But I'm just going to give us the home field advantage here and say that we do take 2. And I'm really hoping that, I mean, we got, everybody watched Guerrero, win the home run derby.
Exactly.
All the Blue Jays hitters are like, damn, I want that to be me next year. I'm going to come out here out of the gate feeling good.
I agree, man. All right. Well, why don't we start predicting a little bit of this week? It'll be kind of hard to, actually. Because,
short week.
I mean, because of the short week.
Yeah,
because we only got a 3-game series, but it's going to be hard because we don't even know who's pitching.
Don't even know who's pitching,
We're just
man.
Gonna be wild cards.
It is a full-up dart throw right now, guys. But shout out to the sponsor of this next section.
If it wants to play, I'll play me.
Time for a quick shout out to Betway. Betway is the best place to make all of your sports bets on all of your favorite teams. Betway is also in collaboration with iGaming Ontario. Must be 19 years older to participate. And guys, please bet responsibly. Now, back to the content.
Spinning, fortune, baseball, colorful, future determining, stat analyzing, and it's a wheel that we spin every week.
It is, in fact, a wheel that we spin every single week, folks. And it's time to spin it again. We are now past the All-Star break, and I literally have double what Adam has at this point.
Do.
So, I mean, if we were to do the math, I think that we did it the last time too, but realistically, you need about a month and a half worth of W's to get back into this thing and push for it. So you basically got to win until September.
That's basically right, guys.
Yep.
It's super easy.
Yeah,
Just a lot of sweeps coming.
Yeah, and lucky for me, it is my week. However, unlucky for me, it's the short week. And I'll be honest, folks, I really have no idea where I'm going to go here at all. If it lands on a pitching thing, like we're just throwing the dart. I'm just gonna throw the dart on Gosman.
Of course.
And
hope it goes there. You know.
We are going. With
Here are starters.
Gosman. Yeah, it's like,
you know what? And I do think they gotta go Barrios,
I think
right?
I mean, like, I guess what we'll just have to do is, if they don't do it, it'll just need to be void, you know, like, because we don't know right now. We know that Gosman is going. We know that Gosman is going for sure.
Yeah. I'm gonna hope, based on my strat, that like one of the second best pitcher right now for the Blue Jays is Jose Barrios.
Right.
I'm hoping they can manipulate it a little bit and think, okay, we gotta beat the Diamondbacks. So I'm hoping they do go Barrios, who did actually last week win the ERA category.
Oh, I know,
for
he was phenomenal. Yeah,
he was phenomenal.
Yeah,
so
he was perfect.
So I will go with Barrios in hopes that they do something with him.
Yeah,
you know what
I mean that's reasonable, man. And honestly, like, I'm fine if it's null and void. So
yeah, I know it's fine. Yeah,
doesn't matter to me.
I need Barrios to go twice.
Yeah. All right, everybody, here we go. Next category. What is it gonna be, folks? I want like J Kill or something. We haven't got J Killer nearly enough.
Oh, average.
Okay,
is interesting.
so average, we got to set a precedent right here because there is only 3 games, and typically what we do here is we'll have a 15 at bat minimum. That's obviously unrealistic at this point.
So I think we got to do
6 at bats.
6.
That's like 2
Yeah, you got to play 2 games. Maybe a walk in there. Or I guess if it's 15, we'll go 7 because it's half the games, right? Let's do 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, 7 at bats.
7 at bats.
All right, so you need 7 at bats then. I'm confident letting you go first on this one.
Okay. I mean, there's 2 clear options.
2
in
clear
my mind.
options here.
So I'll just rock with my boy Bo Bichette because he is the highest average on the team.
That seems very reasonable, man. I am. Oh man. Part of me wants to pick Guerrero just to believe in the hype.
Right, I know what you
like
mean.
just to like buy into the fact that like it really did change something.
Right.
Part of me wants to do it.
Because he was second highest.
He was close.
It's him or Witt.
Fuck it. Yeah,
Vladdy?
give me Vlad, man.
Yo,
I'll see what happens. Yeah,
I like it. That's
didn't
fun.
expect it, but we'll go with it.
Man,
I could win.
It's crazy how like different this season is. Like Vladdy was a staple last year, the year before.
See, I don't think there was ever a week that went by where Guerrero wasn't picked at one point or another.
It's going by. All right, this one you will pick first, and it's gonna be.
Ooh, I wanted it.
Well,
I think we know where we're going on that one.
Easy.
Well, that's why I saved going first for this one. So lock in Kevin Gosman for me.
That's such a cheat code, bro. It's so
It's
crazy.
a full cheat code. It's a full cheat code, man.
And the one week I get Gosman twice, I split it with you. So actually, yeah, there you got him right there. So
and,
all right.
And I truly believe that the only option you can do is Barrios.
Yeah.
Because if you're saying that he's gonna go, then that's what you need to do.
And hey, if he doesn't, then and if I win the Bichette, I just get 1.
You get 1, but I don't think that's actually good enough for you.
No, it's basically just being winning 2 out of 3, right?
Yeah.
It's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
So okay, I'll take it.
I guess.
Okay, all right. Makes sense. Right. Okay, guys.
So that's the week, folks. Let us know in the comments down below who you think is going to win this one. I'm feeling pretty confident with my selections, honestly. Whenever you can roll out with 2 Gosmans, you got to be liking where you're at right now. Gosman's absolutely been my MVP for this wheel so far. So,
for sure.
I'm pretty happy with him. You guys let us know in the comments down below your thoughts on that, your thoughts on potential trades coming up, your thoughts on Guerrero, his home run derby, your thoughts on Alek Manoah and his revival. Literally everything, folks. Comment it down below. And also, please hit that like and subscribe button.
Guys, thank you so much for watching.
Whoa!
Go Jays, go!